things not working as you'd like them to work here at Manchester United?
For many different reasons.
Can you tell us some of those reasons?
No.
Jose, you've gone 4 without a win. The club's only gone 5 without a win, once since 1999. Do you accept that kind of a run for a club of this size? It's not good enough.
Yes, I accept.
And are the fans assured that you're doing everything that you can to try and turn this around?
Okay, can we move on to the second part?
That's it, huh? 3 minutes, the total length of that press conference. Pretty short. Mirror has reported an exclusive that Jose Mourinho will be sacked by the end of the weekend, regardless of Manchester United's result against Newcastle.
I think that's key, regardless of result. Now, as you say, it's been reported by the Manchester correspondent from the Daily Mirror, David McDonald, who's a well-respected journalist. And so, obviously he's getting his information from somewhere very close from within the club. However, regardless of results would kind of make sense because, whether it's a decision has been potentially made before this press conference and had already been decided, or whether that was just the final straw where the board are just saying, listen, this just can't go on. I mean, Mourinho just looks utterly, utterly bored with the whole situation. I understand it's not ideal having to sit down before a game and after a game and take the same questions every week, but it's unfortunately part of his job, and he just doesn't look as if he has the stomach for it anymore.
Jules, I wonder what you've made of this report and really what you made of Mourinho's press conference, if we can call it that, from this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I did think while watching it at 8 o'clock UK time this morning, which was really early, he moved it forward on purpose. I did wonder at the time, it felt like something was up, almost like if he knew something was over. I mean, the last question that we showed, the one about, can you reassure the fan that you are doing everything to turn things around? For him not to answer, I thought one was so disrespectful to every single Manchester United fans around the world. And two was like, what's going on, mate? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you not responding to the one question? The only one he should have picked to respond was this one. Just say anything. Just say anything, but just give them something. And instead, you could see in his eyes, he looked like, you know what, I don't care. I don't care if I turn things around. And like Craig said, I don't know if that was the final straw or if the decision was made before, but it looked to me that he knew the writing was on the wall already and that there was nothing to do in that press conference, that he had nothing to do there. I don't know if he would be sacked this weekend. I was told last weekend that he wouldn't be there against Chelsea after the international break for the next game after this Newcastle game. But he felt this week, I thought after the Valencia game, that he looked a bit in his press conference after the game, despite the pretty boring game that his team put out. But this morning, I thought it looked like he knew it was over.
It's interesting that Jules chose to highlight the final question in that press conference. Stevie, you and I were talking about it before the show. You actually thought that question...
I thought it was a stupid question.
...was disrespectful to Mourinho, right?
Let's be honest, what's he going to say? No, I'm not working hard to change things around. I mean, the fact is, are we really surprised that this probably will happen? No, because the place is an absolute circus. Listen, it's one thing when your team's not playing well and not getting the results they should. It's a whole different ballgame when there's a circus going on. We're actually talking more about that than we are the problems on the field. So the only way to get rid of the circus is get rid of the ringmaster, and that's Mourinho.
Shaka, you agree right now? Now's the time. Got to do it.
Well, now's as good a time as any. I think the only thing that's kept Jose Mourinho in a job this long is that we're not quite sure who his replacement is going to be. We're not quite sure who's available, first of all. So maybe Manchester United are starting to have conversations. Maybe some of those conversations are bearing fruit and they just have to cross their T's and dot the I's over the break. But as we sit right now, Jose Mourinho looks like he's lost the dressing room. I don't think that he can get it back. Added speculation that Alexis Sanchez and his representatives have approached the club about trying to find a way out. When you disenfranchise Alexis Sanchez, Paul Pogba, and so many others within that dressing room, I'm not sure where else to turn, and maybe it is just a stopgap measure, but it wasn't going to get any better.
I think the international break, and in terms of the timing of this, would make sense because it just buys them a few more days. It doesn't buy you a long time, but it certainly buys you a bit more time if you need to make some decisions on the managerial front, incoming and outgoing. But then one of the big concerns here, and Stevie mentioned this, and it is a circus, is one, the way they're playing, is two, the star player at the club and a global brand in Paul Pogba is fighting with the manager almost every day, or certainly every week. And three, the style of football is certainly not going to get any better. And four, at this current moment in time, with this manager and this group of players, there's absolutely no guarantee that Manchester United will be playing Champions League football again next year. Because they're not going to win the competition this year, clearly. And at the moment, I would say getting into the top four in England is going to be a tough task, the way things are going.